Good evening and welcome. For those that don't know me, my name is Bianca van der Merwe, and I'm the Design Director at DLR Group Middle East. I have the pleasure of engaging with you this evening on the keynote, Mind the Gap, elevating the workplace experiences through the art of hospitality-infused design, bridging the chasms of returning to office post-pandemic. As organizations navigate the post-pandemic return to office era, one of the pressing challenges is creating environments that motivate employees to return and stay engaged. Traditional workplace design is no longer enough to meet the expectations of a workforce that has tasted the flexibility of remote working. Every single one of us in this room has had the same experience. It's an experience that sounds almost like a badly written sci-fi movie. I'd like to say, close your eyes and imagine. However, in reality, it's a little bit more like close your eyes and remember. A chemical reaction is created in a lab and somehow gets out. It spreads around the globe at the speed of light. Flights are cancelled. People are stranded in strange countries. Panic and uncertainty reign the day. Here you have it. COVID-19, it's here, and it's here to stay. As this pandemic escalates, a bustling city becomes eerily quiet. Hospitals are overwhelmed. Businesses shuttered, and our lives are upended. The very fabric of what we know as normal has been turned on its head. We lived through this period where we stayed indoors for an extensive period of time, and it felt as if it would never end. It was a time where our children couldn't recognize people without face masks, and where there was even mass outbreaks of violence over toilet paper, of all things. It sounds absolutely bizarre, but it was true. Not only did this pandemic upend the very fabric of our existence, but it also highlighted a range of issues across different sectors and levels of society. One such area was the workplace. Now we're going to look at some of those issues that has come out, what the solutions could be, and how we can implement them into design. When COVID officially ground the world to a standstill, we were forced to work from home. The shift to remote work brought a number of things to the forefront. With remote work surging during the pandemic, it's documented that in the US alone, over 42% of the workforce was working remotely full-time in the early 2021. This radical change exposed the digital divide, with many people lacking access to necessary technology or even just reliable internet. It underscored the challenges of balancing work and family responsibilities and the need for better support for remote workers. It was a period of navigation where companies were forced to reevaluate the way that they work and how they would continue to work. The other item we can also empathize with is the impact on productivity that it had. Now, we know there are some mixed reviews. Some studies indicate increased productivity among remote workers due to fewer distractions and more flexibility, while others highlight challenges such as difficulties in communication and collaboration. I think this is something that we could all relate to. Now, time ticks on, and we're 3 years down the line, and many companies are continuing to offer these flexible work arrangements. This is largely driven by a significant number of employees who are still requesting these flexible arrangements. Why bother coming back to the office if I can do my work at home and do it just as well? I'm going to tell you why. It's great. We've all been there, right? Zoom calls in pajamas, tea, coffee, chocolate at your beck and call. But it's also distracting, and it can be inefficient in more instances than not, considering our technology constraints, collaboration and communication issues, and a complete loss of that vital component of the work social capacity that is inherent to the way that we work. There is a place for work from home, don't get me wrong, but it's the shifting nature of workspaces that call for a hybrid solution. It's not just about bringing employees back to their desks though. It's about reshaping the office into a destination where people want to spend their time. A 2023 survey by PwC found that 87% of executives identified improving the office experience as a top priority for their employees for retaining talent, improving in productivity, and recruitment. While traditional corporate environments have long been about efficiency and hierarchy, employees now seek spaces that offer that flexibility, wellness, and sense of community. So how do we elevate the workplace experience that we can bridge these chasms created of returning to office? The answer, I believe, is hospitality-led workplace design. We need to up the ante to deliver designs that best resonate with the culture, the values, and the personalities of each of the individuals and the organizations we work with. And hospitality-led design, I believe, will take us there. Creating spaces where people want to work, where areas are flexible, where they're functional, where they feel like an extension of home. A home without those pesky chore distractions, better internet, and an environment where you are surrounded by like-minded peers and colleagues, but it's also a space where you can escape them if you need to. So how do we do this exactly? If you bear with me for a couple more seconds, I'm going to tell you and we'll dive in. Hospitality-infused design incorporates principles that focus on comfort, ambience, and ultimately the human experience. It's about creating environments that encourage that social interaction, personal well-being, and a sense of belonging. In the workplace context, this approach can involve everything from welcoming communal areas to high-end cafe offerings, wellness spaces, and biophilic elements that bring the outside into the office. It's these principles and elements that become our tools as designers. Now, it's not a fad and it's not going to go away. It's a strategic investment in the future of work. By improving employee satisfaction and well-being, companies can boost productivity, retention, and recruitment. We attract, but most importantly, we retain our talent. A well-designed, welcoming environment can make all the difference in convincing our top talent to return to the office and to stay engaged. Research suggests that employees that work in spaces designed with hospitality elements report higher levels of satisfaction and are more likely to view their companies as innovative. Now, who wouldn't want that? There's some key elements of hospitality-infused workspaces that I'd like to go through, and there are 5, so let's go. Number 1, comfort and well-being. We're creatures of comfort, and we want the same now in our workplaces. Some of us spend an exorbitant amount of time in the office, and we want to enjoy every second of it. Comfortable seating, soft lighting, and air quality all contribute to our overall well-being. Flexible layout solutions will allow for various work styles whether it's collaborative, individual, or hybrid. Each of those can be tailored to our needs and what we need in our day. Number 2, amenities and services. Much like hotels offer concierge services, the modern workplace can include dedicated wellness spaces, F&B offerings, and even concierge-level IT support. It's not only this that enhances the convenience, but it provides a sense of care and attention to employee needs. I want to tailor my day to how I need it, and this allows us to. Number 3, aesthetic and atmosphere. Now, we as designers know that design aesthetics play a crucial role in creating an inviting environment. This is where we will find the fundamentals, such as warm color palettes, color psychology, the use of natural materials, appropriate lighting, and infusions of indoor plants, all of which can completely transform sterile office environments into places that feel more like home. Number 4, technology and connectivity. Seamless technology integration is a hallmark of both workplaces and hospitality spaces, making office tasks as intuitive as booking a hotel stay. You can sign me up any day. And last, but definitely not least, is number 5, social and community spaces. Creating spaces that encourage that socializing and networking is a key factor in employee satisfaction. Communal lounges, shared dining spaces, and event areas where employees can relax and network and interact that will all foster a sense of community and belonging. I'd like to give you a very specific example that's quite personal to me. I joined DLR just over a year ago, and when I joined, we were in the beginning stages of an office trek. The team had gone through months of research, hard work, and design to pull together a design that would encourage our team to come into the office, but to be happy there. We did, at the time, offer flexible working, and we saw many of our teams opting for that solution. They preferred to work from home, exactly for the reasons that we've touched upon. And even though we had outgrown our current space, and we were somewhat disconnected as we were split across 2 floors, we were very comfortable in what we had because it's what we knew. We're creatures of comfort, right? So we had that to overcome. The other obstacle that came up was that there was a brief moment of time where our lease expired and every single one of us had to work from home. We got back into our comfortable clothes and we enjoyed the peace and quiet of working from home. It was like the honeymoon phase of COVID all over again. How on earth were we going to get our team back into this new office space? But it was only when our offices were complete and the team was introduced to their new space that we saw an incredible shift in the way that we were working. Work from home and flexible working was still being used. People were still opting for it, but it was much less than before. Could it be that we had done something right? And the answer was a resounding yes. It was the implementation of those 5 core principles that I touched on that made our teams want to come into the office. There are relaxation and lounge areas that encourage those informal meetings and collaboration spaces for them. There was amenities such as cafe-style dining spaces and staff shower facilities that not only supported our teams for socializing, for collaboration, but also allowed them a sense of integrating their personal provisions into their daily work lives. Intentional productivity-focused spaces allow us to work in different ways that best complement our individual work styles and atmosphere. There are a variety of meeting room spaces, pause points, and private rooms that foster a positive work style and also gives us an opportunity to escape our colleagues if we need to. Last but not least, it's the warm, natural materials with the pops of vitalizing colors that make us feel confident, comfortable, and at ease in our space. All of these have been crucial to creating an environment that allowed our teams to work productively and effectively, not to mention encouraging them to come into the office more often than not. The internet, which is fantastic, and the coffee help matters. Now, as we move further and further into this hybrid era, the role of hospitality-infused workplace design will continue to evolve. Organizations that can strike a balance between professional functionality and personal comfort will be best positioned to thrive in this new workplace. In doing so, they will bridge the gap between the work-from-home culture and the new office environment, making the workplace a destination where employees feel both productive and cared for. However, it's not a one-size-fits-all formula. It's our job as designers to understand the pulse of each organization's objective and culture and to cultivate a space that meshes with their employees. It was Viktor Frankl, the Austrian neurologist, psychologist, and philosopher who had said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom." We've had our stimulus. It was COVID and everything that came with it. Now is the time for us to choose our response. I, for one, am excited to be a part of that process to create some incredible spaces. And I look forward to seeing what we as a design community will create. Thank you.